President Akufo-Addo will be opening a national conference on the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Secretariat that is being hosted by Ghana. I want to take the Continental Free Trade Secretariat conference first, and then we'll spend some more time on the AGRF 2019, which is coming to Ghana. President Akufo-Addo will tomorrow, Monday, 19th of August 2019, open a 3-day national conference on the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Secretariat here in Accra. The purpose of the conference is to bring together key stakeholders in Ghana and beyond to discuss our strategies that are aimed at harnessing the hosting of the Secretariat in Ghana and the benefits that Africa will derive from it, and Ghana will derive from it as well. The theme is harnessing the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area for Ghana beyond aid. As you would recall, the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union selected Ghana as a host country for the Secretariat in July at the 12th AU Extraordinary Summit held in Niamey, the capital of Niger. The core mandate of the Secretariat will be to implement the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which has since been ratified by 25 member states. President Akufo-Addo at the conference will use the opportunity to articulate Ghana's vision for the AFCFTA for a Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Participants will include senior policymakers, parliamentarians, the business community, academia, representatives of civil society organizations, development partners, and experts on trade from Ghana and beyond. Some of the key issues that will be discussed will be ways of increasing intra-African trade through a better harmonization and coordination of trade within the African continent. And while we discuss that for an Africa-wide agenda, we'll also be looking at how to put Ghana at the center of that. Again, as you are aware, it's estimated that intra-African trade will increase by as much as some $35 billion per annum, or 52% by 2022. Consequently, imports from outside the continent is expected to decrease by some $10 billion per year, whereas agriculture and industrial exports are expected to increase by some $4 billion, that's about 7%, and $21 billion, about 5%, above the baseline respectively by using the 2014 baseline from UNECA. Again, some of the other issues to be discussed include how to address the challenge of small fragmented markets in Africa by creating a single continental market which will lead to economies of scale for businesses across Africa. And again, while we discuss the Africa-wide concept, we'll also be seeking to examine how Ghana can play a key role or take key advantage of that. Again, we'll be looking at how we can add value to Africa's abundant natural resources and promote economic diversification and industrialization, Africa-wide, Ghana-specific. We'll also be looking at developing regional value chains and facilitating cross-border investments in Africa, Africa-wide, Ghana-specific. We also will now narrow in on how to increase the rate at which we are attracting foreign direct investments into Africa and Ghana specifically, with strong regional and local content to help address, among other things, the job and foreign exchange constraints that our continent faces. The government of Ghana urges all participating stakeholders to contribute to the success of this conference and make meaningful impact with it at the end of the day. So as we do always, for the benefit of our colleagues who also report for the local stations, I'll do a quick summary in Chi. Mpuntu nsemo o man bia mu de from senior policy makers. Mrahye bedwafo, edwadifo, achechefo ewo suapon mu, civil society mpanimfo, ansana wonoma ewo suahun wo saa asemwe ho ewo bibrim man nyina mu. Nkomoni bia ye di na yahwe ya pene poma sibre ene ekwan a yebetumi afaso ama edwadi ekoso ewo yankasa ye ho ewo bibrem hasei no yebetumi epegem ohwe nkrata mu a yese yepese by 2022 no na yetumi epeja yankasa ye ho edwadi no by $35 billion ekuayo adwumayɛ mfididwuma ni na yɛpɛsi yɛpɛgyam na yɛtɔn bi ma yɛn ho nkomo no bi ɛbɛboa yɛn ma yɛhu de obi abɛyɛ ma saa ni so ade hu abam ebio enwuma ko bi so wɔ hɔ a abɛn sɛ ɔmo nwuma ne san sɛ ɔmo nya kwan ɛmfa ɔmo nneɛma nkɔ ebibrem man ha nyinaa ne nti no ɔmo nwuma na yɛ nketenkete kwan bɛ ne betumi afa so yɛ biebie mu no yɛatrɛ ɔmo hyia mu na ɛno so akɔ akyire ɔbaadeɛ so akyɛ adomakyɛdeɛ bebree dia broni frɛ no natural resources wɔ pɔtɔ kasɛm no ɛno so kwan bɛ na yɛfa so na yɛtumi apiade akɔ anim na nyɛ sɛ yɛte ya na yɛkɔ akɔtɔn ɛno so yɛbɛdi saa nkɔmɔ na bibrem nyinaa ne Ghana kwan a yɛfa so ayɛ ho adwuma ansana de twatoɔ no so no yɛkra enwuma akɛseɛ aba yɛmmɛm ha sei bibrem ha sei ne Ghana ha sei ankasa de frɛ no foreign direct investment no so no kwan a yɛbɛfa so ne yɛde saa Continental Free Trade Area we sei ama ɛno ayɛ adwuma aban hwɛ anim sɛ wɔnom a wato nsa afrom nyinaa no ɔmde ɔmo tiri mu pɔpa ne ɔmo sua hu ba bɛboa na yɛwie a Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat na yɛpagya wɔ Ghana ha sei ama bibrem nyinaa no etumi afa ne ntoma pa efra. That's the quick briefing tree on this matter. If there are questions on this matter, I'd like to take them now, and then we'll move to our second brief, where I'll invite our other guests to join us. What currency we intend to use for this expanded trade across Africa. As at now, the various regional blocs across Africa are working on their own common currencies. In the West Africa sub-region, you are aware that we are working on the ECO, and there are other currency considerations that the various blocs are using. The way to go about this is to have a convergence criteria, because currency, above all else, also is an indication of the strength of the economy. And so there's a convergence criteria that looks at various benchmarks in each country, from inflation to interest rates to deficits and many other parameters. And countries are encouraged to reach that convergence criteria so that they can adopt this common currency. And as you get that leveling across regional blocks, then you can now even escalate to a higher level of a common currency, possibly for the entire continent, if indeed that will be part of the agenda. Now, as it stands now, for West Africa specific, you are aware of the fact that at the recent, I think, Heads of States conference at ECOWAS, they have come to the view that the number of countries that can quickly move the criteria by the set date can move forward and start while the others seek to get on board. So it's a gradualist approach that balances between meeting the criteria and also ensuring that we still open up our borders and do some more trade. It is not my understanding or the understanding of the government of Ghana that we intend to use the dollar or one external currency for that purpose. But while that is the bigger understanding, we also have to calibrate our various economies gradually and get to that point. So that will be my quick answer to that one. There's a second question about what we intend to do about local laws that may be out of sync or local laws that may have some challenges if we open up the market. That question was in Chi, right? Okay. And I'm saying, Adom FM question, no, non common be say, ye mrani be a yense semono, Sekoba say ye be ye market no munina, en hayen, afufro form befa, ye dwedi ni adia na. Mse sa, nansa nkonwesi a yesi, ekaniema yebe discuss ewo eho no. Wohwe nsem na mekan na poso a, mekan bibi about ye biem na yetumi edidwa free oman baako kɔ oman baako eso eno so ewo nsunsun so wo hwan na etumi didwa ewo oman ban mu enti eka ne ma mpanimfo ebesi hu nkonwa na ehwe nim sɛ mu nyina mba bɛka yɛn ho wɔ saa nkonwasie no ho na de mpanimfo de omadwen bɛkɔ akosi bia no moso matumi ama obia aswate ewo ho. Ghana is known as a production hub for raw materials, and that if we open up we'll just end up exporting some more. It's actually a part of the reason for which we are doing this exercise. And if you recall, in the key issues as I outlined, we want to focus some more attention on value addition. And I'll give you a simple example. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, two of the largest producers of cocoa, literally just export the cocoa beans. From 2017, you heard President Akufo-Addo and President Alassane Ouattara talk about the need to work in concert to do a number of things, including value addition right here, so that we get a larger chunk of the value chain and not just the raw materials. This is the same kind of thing we now seek to do across the African continent, so that we don't just end up shipping out all of these raw materials, but we also look at ways by which we can add the necessary value. There are some of the products where you need a good, may I say, base of the raw material before you can even process. You may have markets that produce it in smaller quantities of raw materials. If you're able to open up and allow this kind of free trade and not necessarily rely on some big commodity market in Europe or elsewhere, then among ourselves we can mop up these numbers and add value right here in Africa. So this actually seeks to help cure that challenge that you are talking about. And then there was a question about the currency. I think the thing about the currency is that the approach that African countries have adopted is to meet the convergence criteria. It may be suicidal to just put a date ahead of you that by this date we are switching when you haven't met the convergence criteria. You recall, I think in Europe, Greece and a few other countries that had issues with actually sustaining the benchmarks on the criteria, but some of which were forced or coerced or brought together. And as the real economies begin to show their levels, you'd have to be borrowing to sustain sometimes your currency levels, etc. So you don't want to force countries into that space. You want countries to meet the convergence criteria and then properly take on that common currency. And that's the approach that has been adopted as at now. Thank you. So we'll go into our second brief. 19 African Green Revolution Forum here in Accra from the 3rd to the 6th of September, and the theme will be Grow Digital, Leveraging Digital Transformation for Sustainable Food Systems in Africa. The forum will be attended by over 2,000 participants, including heads of state, ministers, and eminent personalities from all over the world. The hosting of the AGRF is very important to Ghana because of who and how the idea was birthed. The founding chairman of the AGRF is our own Kofi Annan, former United Nations Secretary General of blessed memory. Coincidentally, today marks exactly 1 year since his departure from this earth. And even as we get ready to launch, we remind all of us that we say a prayer for the family and all that he left behind. But it was Kofi Annan who insisted and brought the AGRF to Africa. Ghana was the first country to host the forum, and 9 years later, Ghana becomes the first country to host again as it returns to the African continent. Shortly, I'll be inviting officials from the local organizing committee to join me as we provide some more details on the September forum and what to expect then. But before then, just want to play you a very short clip, and then after that, Mr. Foster Boateng of the local organizing committee will join me up here at the podium with some more details. Foster, you may want to come up even as we play the insets.
I say a big Akwaba, our word of welcome to all of you who have come to participate in this important conference. We're very, very happy to have you here with us in Ghana. We're hosting this conference for two reasons. The first, to give us an opportunity to commemorate the life of the man who inspired the founding of this conference, the late former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, the eminent Ghanaian who unfortunately is no longer with us. He provided the inspiration for this idea. We think it is a good occasion for our country to acknowledge that and thereby celebrate it. Again, we've taken some very important decisions about the reform of our agriculture. We believe this conference will give us an opportunity to highlight the importance that we attach to agricultural modernization and to inspire once again our people to accept the necessity for the reforms that we have made and for the development of Ghana's agriculture.
To also acknowledge the great job of our founding chair, Mr. Kofi Annan. Mr. Kofi Annan in 2006 in Davos in Switzerland called for a uniquely African green revolution and said Africa has missed out because Asia has really achieved green revolution. How are we going to achieve that for Africa? So he made that call. In 2006, he brought together a lot of partners, including the UN, including USAID, including a lot of partners, Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Rockefeller. As I speak now, we have made a lot of investment in about 11 countries so far, since 2006. Ghana was one of the first countries. And as I speak, in the past decade, we have made about almost $60 million US in investment. The investment has been in the area of research, supporting PhD research in crop breeding. We have also supported seed production. We have also supported private sector investments into agro-processing. But this revolution that Kofi Annan started, it is an alliance that brings peoples together so that we all forge ideas together to transform Africa's agriculture. This year we are launching AGRF in Ghana. Why in Ghana? Because our president was the only sitting president who attended last year's AGRF in Kigali, Rwanda. Also, our minister, Honorable Owusu Akoto, I remember the first time he came to office, I went to him and said, "Sir, I want you to go to AGRF." He said, "What is that?" When I explained to him, he said, "Young man, I'm going to go with you." He followed me to Abidjan. And then the following year said, "When is the next AGRF?" When we're in Rwanda, I said, "Foster, you have to make sure that I bring AGRF to Ghana." And now here we are with AGRF. What is AGRF all about? AGRF is considered as the world's premier forum for African agriculture, pulling together stakeholders in the agricultural landscape to take practical actions to share lessons that will move African agriculture forward. So what we are trying to do is we are bringing a lot of partners, players together to pool resources to support African agriculture. This year, AGRF will bring together about 8 African heads of states. It will bring practitioners together. It will bring media. It will also bring a lot of ministers to Accra. There's going to be a presidential summit, and the presidential summit is going to focus on how we are going to transform our agriculture. Also, we will get a number of private sector also coming together. There's one important event that will be held during the AGRF. We call it the deal room. This deal room will bring a lot of investors, a lot of private sector people to broker deals with their fellow partners in Ghana. And we are looking forward to brokering about $100 million deal, $100 million deal in the deal room in this coming AGRF. And it's starting from the 3rd to the 6th. As I speak now, I am not the person who's supposed to talk about AGRF. I'm just clearing the way for my minister. My minister will talk about the details on Tuesday, because the AGRA president is coming to town. They are coming to meet the head of state. Also, our new board chair, who happens to be the former prime minister of Ethiopia, is also coming to town. Our outgoing board president, Mr. Strive Masiwa, will also be in town. So there will be a big day for the media to listen to them. I am just the John the Baptist to clear the way for them. Thank you. Yeah, it's not only heads of states who are coming. It's also, we are talking about farmer organizations are coming there. The deal room will involve people in agro-processing, people who are also farmers, people who also provide mechanization services to farmers for them to talk about. There will be a lot of power programs, side events that will give opportunity to farmers to also interact with their fellow farmers as well. Let me also say that after the AGR, we also follow up with some of the deals to make sure that we really lock in the deals. In 2016, in Kenya, we were able to mobilize over 300 billion towards agriculture. And some of these things come from the various partners like World Bank, like African Development Bank, and all the multilateral and bilaterals. They come there to look at the deals where they can support. So it's a great opportunity. It's not only for heads of state to speak about grammar. Okay. Your second question about, is AGRA different from the PFJ? No. What AGRA does is we work with governments to help shape government's program. Our investments are in 3 areas. First of all, we provide what we call state capability support to government so that government can prioritize agriculture. The second one is we look at what is missing in the system that we can fix to transform agriculture. So we have investment around systems development where we can look at seeds, fertilizer, technology, and the like. And then we have a third one, we talk about partnership. Because we feel that we can bring in the private sector to drive sustainability. Government can really ensure scale, but then you bring private sector to ensure sustainability. We work with government so that we create the enabling environment for private sector to come in. A case in point with PFJ, AGRA has aligned its resources to support PFJ. We were the first organization that worked with the minister to say, let us shape the plan. After we shaped the plan, some of our partners also started joining. So it's not different. Our role is to help the government because our money alone cannot transform. But we believe that we can help the government to position itself very well to also mobilize other resources. Okay. About the year conference, CB one crying. Ghana buying and a host. And it's a year about Kuyayemu Adrian. AGRA, a organization, be a Yenya Papa Kofi and setting up, being fear duni. No, say, Adena African Kwa dear. Green Revolution, a year can want some way share ye dear. Yen to me achieve you be. Then ye can't by Green Revolution. Oha, your farmers do a fool, or not 10 acres and your brew bag of acope. And so call Asia, or do a fool, a damn ha, no a boobayer, a bottle edu. Adena Africa dear, yen to me be. And to Kofi Annan the idea in a buy. And of free, one the woman some Gate Foundation, Rockefeller. No, some mumbra, no for musica money and fat, a dream boom near your client befaso. You who said the entire Emma Africa, Kuyayan 2 pound say, ye need a hunim dear, Obroniba say, technology, science. And to Kofi Annan organization of Bois say, you bet me and seed, Papa, you bet dear, you bet me trouble bree. You bet me and technology beer, you bet me cry no barn. And I bet me a CC near Yabra, Yabua, yet Miaton. It is our idea in a bar papa itrim. And I'll say any yen share Afibia or country biso, near to Advini. If you mean no chairman, ye were Abidjan. I fear this would be ye were Kigali, a Rwanda. And I fear we dear ye were Ghana. I didn't mean ye were Ghana. Your mum penny you be I am sequia, Naniju ye pa. Eti ye frere meeting or Rwanda no. Or no penny certain president or Okoye. Na President Kagame and a new host. Eti benefit transidin and see there be. Was set on Manunyam. Tiafamra Ghana, a few weeks. 10 years in nearby, a buy, after Samba Ghana the second time. 18 nearby. Then nearby, ye frere on a year for 1 year researchers are on share a near Mumsania, Ombedi in Obaya, and Kuafobedia, Umenya Bibri. On a Yagmo Bank, on Bema Kuafosika. Almost a development partners, as a World Bank, African Development Bank. And Sana, Ankran Juma, private sector for also. There's a place called Deal Room. Omo Babe looking for deals, business partners. And you say Ghana, business for also. Eba, more Ankran Juma, no more agro processing, Uba. Bibi a agri-based industry, Uba. Now no more Ebenyan Kitahudie. Na wɔn wetumi atrewa adwuma mu ebia no nso de nsika be hyewa adwuma mu ne mu atre na ya ka nyina ne se ye no fi ye 3rd to 6th September Ghana ban aye so be host enti ye da Ghana ban ase ene ye da ye partners nyina ase ti ne ya ka ne se ebere so a momfa monim de meta akiri na obi anti bi e da mase.
There's AGRF Accra, #AGRF Accra. Then there is #I am Agra. We hope and we look forward to this being the living legacy of Kofi Annan as well. So there's hashtag living legacy. Then there's also hashtag AGRF 2019. So if you do well to share as many of these hashtags as you can while you go up with your stories. One of those that we are very keen about is how we are introducing technology in the agric revolution space. So Grow Digital is one of the hashtags that we also want to see you promote for us. So please do well to tag your stories with some of these hashtags. We'll share the videos with you as well so that you can also use them for your stories. In recent months, and I dare say years, many depositors have complained about their locked up cash with a variety of institutions. The regulator for the sector, the Bank of Ghana, using the Banks and Specialized Deposit Institutions Act, has made a determination of institutions that are insolvent and requested the administration to provide funds for that resolution. Currently, over 12 billion Ghana cedis has been provided for that resolution. Receivers have been appointed to go through that cleaning up exercise, and it is our expectation that these funds will go a long way to protect the deposits of the clients in the sector, which is our biggest obligation as an administration. Again, it's our expectation that moving forward, the Bank of Ghana would apply those stringent regulatory measures to ensure that this is not repeated in our economy one more time. I share financial sector resolution in Bank of Ghana, Ede ACC, Niama Ekochima wo financial sector resolution nimuno. Ebe boama nipa dodo ana omsika ehu akɔkyere no wɔ financial sector nimuno dodo ana nsa bɛka omsika. Sɛ nyina bɛka ya bɛyɛ bosomi kakra bɛsen kɔ anase mfie kakra bɛsen kɔ ni no. Nipa dodo a omsika ɛwɔ financial sector institutions ni bi no a complain ni sa omsika akam. Bank of Ghana no hwɛ so no wayɛ ne hwehwɛ mu ahu sɛ ebi mu anase institutions ni bi wɔ hɔ a omsika sɛbi dwa a omdidi yɛ ne adeɛ no sika na hye anase ebi mu so afa sa sika ne bi. Ɛno nti no ɔmo ɛde mmara na yɛde yɛ adwuma no Banking and Specialized Deposit Institutions Act no ayɛ adwuma ahu sɛ saafoɔ no ɛwɔ sɛ yɛde sika ɛhyɛm na yɛ close sa institutions no na ɔmo a sika wɔ mu no yɛtumi ɛtu sika ama ɔmo. Nti ɔmo appointed the amramu no ɔmo friend receivers a ɔmo yɛ sɛ adwuma no. So far sika akom ɛboro bɛyɛ 12 billion cedis ɛna aban de ahyɛm saa 12 billion nketumi yɛ nneɛma foforɔ bebree. But sika aban de ahyɛm sɛ nipa dodo a na ɔmo sika akɔ akɔdi hɔ no so no Bank of Ghana ne receivers no betumi ahwɛ ɛtu ɔmo ka. Aban so hwɛ anim sɛ Bank of Ghana ɛne ɔmo mpanyinfo foforɔ da no na ɔmo bɛbɔ ɔmo ho mmɔden na de esi wɔ the financial services sector ɛma nkɔfo sika ho kyerɛ ɔmo no ebi ankɔ ankɔsi bio. Some of your other specific questions. If government has about 12 billion, why not just recapitalize and allow some of these organizations to operate? I think the Bank of Ghana has explained that for those that are in a position where they could do purchase and assumption transactions or where they could do consolidation, they have done that. And for those that are not in a position where that can be applied, that is where you see that they have had to literally withdraw their licenses and not go any further. The BOG may provide you some further details on what goes into a determination of who qualifies for purchase assumption, who qualifies for consolidation, etc. Questions about jobs. I think broadly for us as a government, the view is that as we continue to work to grow the economy and create expansion in many other aspects of the economy, all Ghanaians who are in search of a job, regardless of how the particular organization in which they were working turned out, should be able to find economic space. I think the administration has not, or the Bank of Ghana has not said that, let's say because of jobs, if an organization is insolvent, they will continue to let it operate just because of jobs. So I think for us, our answer as an administration is to ensure that we have a lot more growth and expansion in the broader Ghanaian economy so that all classes of persons who are unemployed will get jobs in the various aspects of the economy as it opens up. And the first question was about government seeks to... Yeah, I think the first question was about the suggestion that government is deliberately closing down institutions for various reasons. I mean, look at it from this point of view. This is an administration that is promising jobs, growth, jobs, incomes for people. Why would such an administration be interested in deliberately closing down people's businesses when it knows that in the end it will have to answer for how many jobs have been created or the addition or the net addition of jobs? It's not a coherent argument. The Bank of Ghana makes us understand that these organizations are insolvent, and it is important to take action in that space. You cannot say that because you want to create jobs, you are going to let them continue to operate as they are operating when they are insolvent. And that's why the government will provide funding to the Bank of Ghana to take action in that space. In places where they can do purchase and assumption transactions so that the organizations literally keep running, they are doing so. In places where they can't, they are not able to continue. In places where other organizations have taken over these organizations and have come to the view that some of the numbers they can't contain, they may have to, because sometimes it may not make economic sense to have 3 branches within 200 meters of each other of the same organization. They have had to rationalize some of those numbers. So it's a balancing act that the Bank of Ghana has been working, and for the administration, our interest has been to provide the resources that they need to go about their work in that space. Any other questions? And I think that for those of you who understand the issues better, instead of sometimes just repeating the misconceptions, it helps if we also help with the public education so that people understand that this is how to resolve these matters. This is how to protect the deposits of over 1 million Ghanaians, over 12 billion cedis that has gone in there. And then in line with the first question, persons who are found culpable of having deliberately indulged in acts that brought these banks down, because not all of these institutions necessarily came down because of deliberate acts, but persons who are found culpable of deliberate acts that brought some of these institutions down would have to answer. And I think already some of the receivers are in court. You are familiar with that. Already some of the receivers are in court trying to retrieve assets from various persons. And those who are being investigated, it's my understanding, are also being investigated. And if any persons are found culpable of deliberate acts that have brought institutions to this point, action will be taken against those persons as well. Okay, colleagues, thank you.